Hey, welcome back, my friends. So glad you are here. Happy whatever day of the week it is. Happy car driving by. It is a good day because we're talking about coffee. Oh wait, yep, there you go. This is a great coffee mug. I use this when the weather changes and it gets too cold for my normal Monk coffee mug. This is a gift from a dear friend, and it is a great example of the kind of stuff that we're going to talk about today when it comes to coffee. Now, if you are one of the real ones, if you are one of the 0.05%ers who actually watched that whole video last week on coffee part 1, more of the philosophical musings of why we're doing coffee wrong, if you actually made it through that whole video, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know, because that video was not great. Video was not great at all. But the content was absolutely worth it. But what I want to talk about today, are the 3 things. I don't know why it has to be always 3 things. I think it's because I grew up in a church where our preacher, who I love very much, every sermon had 3 things. And I think it's just ingrained in the very depths of my soul. But I have 3 things for you today that I think if you'll do these 3 things, it'll make your coffee experience more nourishing for the soul and less consumeristic. Because that's what bothers me more than any of it. Like, I drive by, man, you see these drive-by coffee places. There's no way that the coffee they're selling you is any good. And the reason they can sell it the way they do is because it's hopped up on all of this processed crap. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with the 3 things, but since I'm on a rant anyways, let me go ahead and say it. I'm not a scientist when it comes to processed sugars. There's a big debate out there on just how bad processed sugar is for you. And I'm not going to get into all of that. What I know is that when I started intentionally, wind in the trees, it's actually pretty great. What I do know is that when I started to cut out, with an intentional mindset, the use of processed sugar in my life, I felt better physically and I thought better in my day-to-day actions. And that's the only way these places can sell you the crap coffee that they're selling, is because it's hopped up on processed sugar, which is highly addictive. That part I'm willing to stake some substantive bets on. But that's not the point of today. The point of today is I got 3 things for you that I think will make your coffee experience significantly better. The first of these is learn how to make good coffee. Now, I'm not going to advocate that French press coffee is the best coffee for you to be drinking. However, I will tell you that when I went from like standard American drip coffee to French press, because of the love of my good wife who gave me a French press coffee pot maker thing for my birthday, my coffee experience got a whole lot better. It's so good, oh my gosh. But like, learn how to make good coffee. You know, I have a student, you know who you are. I have a student that told me the difference between American drip coffee and French press coffee is the difference between letting your tea steep for some minutes versus just throwing some hot water on it real fast. And that's what the crap stuff is coming from all these big chain coffee makers are. It's just super hot, burned, quickly brewed coffee. That's garbage. So learn how to make good coffee. French press, espresso. Learn how to make pour over or American drip that doesn't suck. I think that's possible. Learn how to make good coffee, because once you've learned how to make good coffee, you've become integrated with the thing that you're consuming, and now you're in more of a generative space than a consumeristic space. And once you get out of the consumeristic space, you realize that all that crap out there that costs you $8 a cup for burned coffee isn't worth it. And you can do better at home. So do better at home. That's the first thing. Learn how to make really good coffee. I love me some French press. It is just wonderful. Thing number 2 that I believe will make your coffee experience infinitely more better is to make it your own. You've learned how to make good coffee, now make it your own experience. That's why I drink out of this thing. I could go to Walmart and get any kind of cup that might be better than this, that might keep my coffee hotter, longer. I could do that. But this was a gift from a good friend. And so I drink from this cup in the winter season because I'm reminded that I'm not alone on this planet. And coffee used to be about community. It used to be about conversation. It used to be about sitting around and sharing things. Even if you're just sharing things with yourself in your journal or whatever. Make it your own. Get a coffee cup that's beautiful, aesthetically pleasing. It's got some weight to it. So when you drink from that cup of coffee, there's more than just plastic lids and paper cups. There's life that happens in it. If you want to really make coffee your own, find an artisan ceramic potter, ceramicist, person that makes things from clay, and buy one of their coffee cups, because there is an imbuing of life and energy into that vessel that you cannot get from some assembly line plastic piece of crap. Find an artist, buy some of their work, because man, there's just, there's a difference. There's a difference that happens when you drink from something like that. So learn how to make good coffee, then make your coffee experience your own. And more importantly than any of the other ones, make time. Make time for a nourishing coffee experience. You know, and I talked a lot about this in the video. I think it's the left shoulder. I'm eventually gonna get this figured out, where they go. Anyways, in the last video I talked about this, but I want to reiterate. The reason we buy coffee from all of these big chain places with all their processed sugars and syrups and foams and whatever is because we're living a life that's entirely too fast-paced. We're trying to cram a week's worth of stuff into 24 hours, and it's killing us. Literally. It's not the processed sugars, although that's part of it. It's not the processed food, although that's part of it. It's an ultra-processed life. We're trying to do life too fast. We're trying to do too much too quickly. We got to step back and be like, you know what? I'm going to take 30 minutes to sit in my favorite chair with my favorite handmade piece of pottery coffee mug, and I'm just going to be still. And I'm just going to enjoy this nourishing moment. You know, for me, in order to do life the way I want to go at the degree of craftsmanship that I as an artist want to go to, it takes me an hour and a half to get all of this mentally prepared for the day. That's journaling, that's prayer, that's scripture, it's reading, it's sitting down with a book of beautiful artwork and encouraging my artistic spirit. And it's a good cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee for the caffeine. Yes, the caffeine helps. But I'm not there to, like, you know, get my injection and go on about the day. I'm there because a warm cup of coffee and a few minutes to write in my journal makes this healthy. And then when I have my cup for the morning, I'm done. I don't need any more caffeine after that, because I'm not letting the world dictate how fast I do life. And I'm making sure that I'm rested. I'm making sure that I'm taking time with my kids. I'm making sure I take time to read books at the end of the night. I'm putting technology away so that I can trigger my mind to say, hey, it's time to go to sleep. See sleep video over here. But that's what we have to do. You know, this stuff is supposed to be a tool for our soul care, not a band-aid that we slurp down as fast as possible so that we can do all of the consumeristic postmodern nonsense that we've been convinced we're supposed to do. If you want to do coffee better, do life better. Now, that's not a slap in the face, that's not a criticism. It just means take a minute, get a cup of coffee, get out some paper and a pen, write down what's working in your life and what's not. What's keeping you from being able to sit down for 30 minutes and enjoy a warm cup of coffee before you start your day? You know, I remember my granddad passed away several years ago. God, I love that man to pieces. My granddad, every single day I was in that man's presence. He got up, got himself ready for the day, got his cup of black coffee, got the newspaper, sat down at the table, drank his coffee. You didn't talk to Granddad till the coffee was done. And of course, you can say, "Good morning, Granddad, I love you." You know, that kind of stuff. But like, Granddad was going to drink his coffee and read the paper before he got going on the day. And it was every day. There was no day where Granddad did not take time to sit down and be still. That's how you do coffee better. Stop running around. Stop letting life dictate what you ought to be doing, and you start dictating what life ought to be doing. And start that by making time. Make time for you to be still and enjoy a cup of coffee. Man, it's good. It's good to take a moment and enjoy something that should be nourishing, not something that should be a detriment. That's all I got for you today. It's a good day. We're coming up on Christmas. I hope that you have a beautiful Christmas season. I will be making more content throughout the season. I'll probably do a bunch of stuff ahead of time, excuse me. But I hope you have a great day. I hope wherever you are, this was an encouragement that you can do life better. If I had all the hours in the world and I could make a 4-hour video that I think people would watch, I would tell you my story and tell you about how possible it is to change how you're doing life and how to make life something that you love, not something that you tolerate and survive. You can thrive. You can sit down for 30 minutes in the morning and enjoy a good cup of coffee. Have a great day. Till I see you next time, keep climbing. This is coffee part 2. Yep, I think we're okay. Enough fiddling around. Let's do the thing.